Out there, alone in the deep woods, you start to realize you're not always as alone as you think. What followed me back from the mountains still keeps me up at night. If you've ever wondered what's really waiting in the quiet, listen closely. I went to the Appalachians in October because I needed the quiet. At least, that's what I told myself. That's what I told my sister when she asked why I was going alone, why I didn't wait for spring, why I picked a trail so far off the usual paths. I told her I needed space, time to think. Looking back, I'm not sure that was true. The cabin I found was at the end of a rough old logging road, the kind nobody keeps up anymore. The woman who owned it met me at the bottom with the key and a stack of directions. How to prime the pump, where the breaker box was, what to do if the propane ran out. She didn't ask why I was there. She just looked at me for a long second before she handed me the key and left. The cabin was small, just one room, a wood stove, a narrow bed pushed against the wall. The windows looked east out to the ridgeline. In the mornings, sunlight cut through in sharp lines. You could see dust hanging in the air. I liked that. I liked how sound traveled up there, how far you could hear, how clear everything seemed. The first 3 days were exactly what I hoped for. I woke early. I made coffee on the stove. I hiked the trails that twisted through laurel thickets and climbed the mountain's spine. The leaves were mostly down by then, so the woods felt open. Bare branches everywhere. You could see farther than you'd expect. Things that should have been hidden, old fence posts, piles of rock, dark hollows, were all out in the open. I didn't see anyone, didn't hear anyone. Just wind, birds, the crunch of my own boots on the trail. On the 4th day, I decided to go farther. There was a ridge I'd been watching from the cabin, a long strip of bare rock running north. I wanted to see what was on the other side. The hike up was steep. By the time I reached the top, my legs were shaking. My breath was ragged. I leaned against a tree at the clearing's edge and took in the view. Endless forest in every direction. The sky was a thin, washed-out blue. I could see the cabin way below, a dark dot among the trees, the old road like a scar winding down. I stood there for a while. That's when I heard it. My name, not shouted, not even called out, just spoken, clear as day, from somewhere behind me, deeper in the trees. Michael. My own voice, not similar, exactly the same. I spun around, no one there, just trees and shadows, the wind moving the branches. I waited. The woods went silent in that way you only notice when something's just moved through. A heavy, expectant silence. I could feel my pulse in my neck. I told myself it was an echo, maybe the way sound bounces off rocks up there. Maybe I'd said my name earlier without noticing. Sometimes I talk to myself, but I didn't buy that. Not really. I turned and kept walking. The trail beyond the ridge was overgrown. It dipped into a stand of old hemlocks. The branches were thick. It was darker there, colder too. The ground was soft with decaying leaves. It smelled like stone and rot. I walked for maybe 20 minutes, then I heard it again. Michael. Closer this time, still behind me. I stopped. I didn't turn around. I don't know why. Some part of me knew I shouldn't. I stood there, listening. Nothing. No footsteps, no sound of anyone moving. Just an empty hush. And then, after a moment, I heard something else. Breathing. Not mine. Slow, quiet, coming from the same spot as the voice, like something just out of sight. I started walking again. I didn't run. I kept to my pace, focused on the trail. I counted my steps. 100, 200, 300. The path curved back toward the ridge. The woods thinned. I could see the sky again. I could see the cabin, small below. That day, I didn't hear the voice again, but I felt watched all the way down the mountain. That night, I locked the cabin door. I hadn't before. There hadn't been any need. This time, I checked the windows, pulled the curtains, sat at the table and tried to read, but I couldn't focus. I kept listening. The cabin creaked and settled. The wind pressed against the walls. The stove ticked as it cooled. I told myself it was just the isolation. I'd read about what happens when people get too lonely, how your brain starts to invent things, how silence can press in on you. I almost believed it. I went to bed late, but I didn't sleep. I stared up at the ceiling. The wind picked up outside. The branches scratched against each other. It sounded like whispering. It sounded like footsteps. It sounded like breathing. And then I heard it, from right outside, just beyond the window. Michael, my voice, exactly my voice. I didn't move. I lay there, heart pounding, blood roaring in my ears. Michael. Closer this time, right outside the window. I wanted to get up, I wanted to look, but I didn't. I lay there, listening. Then I heard it shift. Not footsteps, just a weight settling, like something moving into place. And then, after a long moment, I heard it breathe. Slow, deliberate, in and out, matching my own breath. It was learning. I don't know how I knew, but I did. It was listening to me. It was learning. I held my breath. There was a long stretch of silence, and then I heard it hold its breath too. I didn't sleep at all that night. I just waited for the sun to come up. When it finally did, pale and cold through the curtains, I got out of bed and checked the windows. There was nothing outside, no footprints, no sign that anything had been there, just the woods, quiet and still. I made coffee, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I told myself I'd pack my things, leave, and never come back. Tell my sister she was right, that I shouldn't have come alone, that I wasn't ready for this kind of quiet. But I didn't leave. I can't explain why. Maybe I didn't believe I could. Maybe I thought whatever it was would follow, or maybe I just wanted to understand it. I spent the whole day inside. I tried to read, tried to eat. I watched the light crawl across the floor. I didn't hear the voice that day, but I could feel it, watching. That night, I didn't lock the door. I don't know why. It felt important somehow. Like locking it would be admitting something was out there, like it would make things worse. I left it unlocked. I went to bed early. I lay in the dark and waited. It came just after midnight. I heard the door open, not forced, just a slow creak, the latch lifting, the hinges moaning. I didn't move. I kept my eyes shut and listened. Footsteps, slow, careful. Each step matched my own rhythm. It stopped at the foot of the bed. I could feel it watching me. I kept my breathing steady, in and out, in and out. It stood there for a long time. Then it spoke. Michael. My voice, but something was off now. There was hesitation in it, a question, almost. It was still learning. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I lay there, faking sleep. After a long while, I heard it cross the room. The door closed behind it, softly. I opened my eyes. The cabin was empty, but I could feel it, just outside, waiting. I left the next morning, packed in the dark, didn't make coffee, didn't clean up. I threw everything in the car. The woods were silent as I drove down the mountain. I gave the key back to the woman who owned the cabin. She watched me for a long time before asking if I was all right. I said yes. She didn't believe me. I drove home, went back to work, told my sister the trip was fine, that I felt better. She didn't believe me either, but she let it go. It's been 3 months. I haven't gone back. But sometimes late at night when the house is quiet, I hear it, my voice, from somewhere I can't see. Michael, it's getting better. The hesitation is almost gone. Soon, I don't think I'll be able to tell the difference. And I wonder, when that happens, if it'll still need me, or if it'll have learned enough.